Yoga is a group of physical, mental and spiritual practices which originated in ancient India. It focuses on strength, flexibility and breathing to boost physical and mental well-being. Most of you will have heard of yoga, many of you will practice yoga, but how can we incorporate it in our everyday lives to help us keep physically fit and mentally alert? Hello, I'm Keris. I'm a skincare and wellness professional with over 30 years experience. I help people to look and feel fabulous so they have the confidence to live fun, fulfilling lives. If you enjoy this video, please ensure to subscribe as I'm sharing more of my experiences each week. Today I'm talking to Julia, creator of Yoga Loveliness. Julia traveled the world to find her passion and finally discovered it by looking inward. Julia now shares this knowledge with others so they too can experience true freedom, contentment and happiness through the regular practice of yoga and meditation. Welcome, Julia.
Hi, thank you. Thank you very much for having me. My doggy.
Share with us your experience and your journey with yoga. How did you become a yoga teacher?
It was funny. It was a serendipity, actually, or it was definitely meant to happen. I'd moved down to Devon. I've been here for 11 years. And I used to do high impact exercise, aerobics and martial arts and everything, just anything to burn as much fat as possible. I was obsessed with my weight, of being thin as possible. So I was in kickboxing class down here and it was really, really full. And I was about to kick full throttle and I thought I was going to hit someone. So I suddenly changed the angle and there was a massive click and I basically tore a ligament. But I was so obsessed with exercise at the time that I continued to train and I was in a lot of pain. So I switched to doing step aerobics because I thought that was less impact, but I was still in a lot of pain. And so I went to the physio and they instructed me very seriously to stop exercising because I needed to heal. And if I didn't, I was going to be really seriously hurt. So, but honestly, at that time, I was so obsessed that the thought of not exercising for 2 weeks was just like absolute torture. I thought, I can't do it, but I had to, and I did. And during those 2 weeks, I was reading this book about Australian Aborigines, and I read in the book about this Kundalini, that they use this practice to stay in touch with their ancestors. And I'd heard Kundalini because I had a meditation CD and I just thought it was meditation, didn't know it was a physical practice. So I went online and I saw these videos of CNN News filming 100 people in a room doing this practice, and it just looked so amazing. It was really active. It wasn't like any yoga I'd experienced before. I wasn't into yoga, it just wasn't for me. But this was something totally different. So I ordered a DVD and I did it, and I was just absolutely blown away by how I felt. So, you know, having done lots of exercise all my life, high impact exercise and getting that adrenaline buzz at the end, this was something different on a totally different level. It was so deep. It was something that I'd never experienced before, but it was so profound and amazing that I was just like, oh my God, I have to carry on doing this. Yeah, so I kept practicing every day, 2.5 hours. I always do everything to the extreme. And it just really, I was just changing. I was coming alive again. All these ailments, you know, when your immunity is low and you have certain parts of your body that you know, all these ailments all came up at once. And most of them are completely disappeared now. I, you know, don't have the same things coming up because everything that gets stored in the body emotionally, if you don't deal with it, if you don't address it, it will come up in symptoms. So I was releasing all of that. And it was the first time in 10 years that I actually acknowledged the pain from my divorce and was allowing myself to grieve. So without actually going through the pain and remembering everything, this is what yoga does, and meditation, all of these spiritual practices, is it helps you to release the stuff that you've repressed, so that you can be free, you know. So 6 months I was practicing this like crazy, and everyone I met, I was just like, oh my God, you have to do this yoga. Have you heard of this yoga? You know, and I just thought, I've got to become a teacher.
Fantastic. So what would you, I mean, there's lots of different schools of yoga, and you've explained to you a lot about the Kundalini Yoga. So I guess people need to try different things, see what suits them. How would you recommend, what would you say to someone just starting out in yoga, not even sure what sort of yoga they should study or practice?
Yeah, I would do exactly that, is try lots of different classes, because I had tried it over the years, and I mean, I don't think I was actually ready. So when you're ready, then you will find the right class and the right teacher, but I wouldn't write it off, because I had done that and I just thought, oh, I don't like yoga, and I had tried a few styles, but then when I found this, it was totally different. It was another world. And the beauty of it is there are so many different styles to fit different people's personalities, because we're all completely different. So, and it's also important to find, if you go to one class and perhaps you don't resonate with the teacher, also don't let that put you off. Find a teacher that makes you feel comfortable, that makes you feel welcome, so you feel a part of the class. And just so you just
good advice there. Yeah, exactly. And so you know, lots of people, we're living in a very fast-paced life, very stressful. So how does yoga help us to stay healthy in our everyday lives?
I too, I think, I don't know how I would have got through lockdown without my practice. I just think it's the most important thing for us to do. I mean, any exercise is going to make you feel better. Any exercise is going to help to de-stress the body. But yoga takes you that little bit further, because we're using the body and the breath to quiet the mind. And it's the mind that causes all of the problems, all of the stresses, the fears, the anxiety. And we're being fed so much at the moment, and it's coming from everywhere. I don't listen to the news. I'll find out if there's something that I need to know. But, you know, everything that we're choosing to expose ourselves to is affecting us. And now more than ever, we need to be really vigilant about what we listen to and who we talk to and everything. So, you know, yoga brings us, using the breath and the body, we focus on this to get out of the mind and to bring us inwards. And in that space inside of us, I mean, if you haven't done any spiritual practices or yoga, this might sound really esoteric and hippie-fied, and it's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. You just need to experience it. It's when you come into that space through the practice and you suddenly feel at peace and you feel free from all of the stuff that's going on in the outside world. And that's the only place where we are going to feel safe, is inside of us. And then we discover, the more we connect, that everything that we need is already inside of us. We're always searching outside of us for everything, but it's all here. But the only way we can access here is by quietening what's going on in the mind. So I think it's absolutely essential. And it reminds us of who we are, that we're not just the body and the mind, that we're a spirit, and that we are being supported all of the time.
Excellent. Wow, that's really good and interesting and helpful, I think, for people that, like you say, are having trouble processing different thoughts and feeling overwhelmed in these days. Definitely.
Okay.
So what would the benefits for 50-year-olds be for doing yoga or practicing yoga moves every day?
Well, I think what's really important is when we come into our 50s, is that we need to change the way we exercise, even mid-40s. And everything that we did when we were in our 20s and 30s, running and high impact exercise, is really detrimental to the body and causes inflammation. So we need to be doing gentle exercise and strength training. So yoga, because it's a spiritual practice as well as a physical practice, it can ease us through this transition in life. And it doesn't have to be a horrible time. And a lot of women, I think most women really come into their own in their 50s, because it's the first time that you begin to, you accept your body for the first time. And, you know, when you look back at pictures when you're younger, where you criticize yourself all the time, and then you just think this is ridiculous. And then we stop being people pleasers. You're just so tired of it. You spent your whole life just trying to fit in with everyone and say things so that people will like you. And I think when you get to this age, you're just like, no, you start to speak your truth. You stop worrying about what other people think, and people respect you for that. People don't respect you if you just let them walk all over you. So there's a power, there's an inner power that emerges as women come into their 50s, obviously also related to the menopause. And yoga can help us to ease through this transition in life, because it also helps to balance the hormones.
So now, obviously, at the moment, it's quite hard to access yoga classes because of lockdown and things like that, or maybe people have lack of mobility or getting to places. You can actually do yoga online. I know you yourself offer online classes, is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. I've taken all my classes online. So there's 5 classes a week. And yeah, this is the studio. Yeah. Got my heater on. And it's easy. If you're not sure how to use Zoom, I can help everyone out with a little private, you know, showing you all the settings and everything. But it's really easy. And I think, you know, especially in the last few months, in the beginning, people were terrified, they didn't want to do it, but so many things have gone online now, and it's not difficult to use Zoom. And for me, I just think in terms of me going to other classes, the stuff that I've wanted to do in America and Canada for years, like going on retreats and stuff, and I can't, but now I can. So I'm participating in all sorts of classes and meditations and retreats, and the world is your oyster. When things go back to normal, I'm hoping that these places, I mean, I'm definitely going to continue to teach some classes online, and I hope other places will as well, because it just means everyone is able to experience it.
So thank you so much, Julia, for joining us today. It's so interesting to hear how yoga can help us not just physically tone our bodies, but also mentally keep us alert and sane in our everyday lives. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. Bye.